Good morning, everyone. My name is Christy Denny's. I'm one of your Miami trainers. How are you this morning? We do have a chat, so if you have any questions, you do have to activate on your computer to be able to hear. Okay, so how we get into RPR, really quick. We get into RPR through our gateway. This is an RPR Residential class. It's also a tax service that's available for you. It is a NAR benefit. It's part of your benefits with your association. It also has a mobile application to it. If you've never used it, click on the RPR within your gateway. And how it is that you create a new account is you simply click on it. When you click on it, you're going to select create a new account. And what you will need to create a new account is your last name and an email address. I suggest that you use the email that you have with the association. Use that email address. Make sure you have access to it. You are going to need, again, your last name and your NRD number. Once you send an email, you will receive an activation email in return from RPR. Make sure to go into your inbox and click activate my account within 3 hours, or else you'd have to redo that option. Okay, and that's within RPR. Now, if I go back into RPR, I did want to go over your settings. Okay, so normally when we start a class, what we go into is our settings because it's a way of customizing the system to you. So click on this little wheel, and that's going to open up your settings. Okay, so how you update and customize this program, you want to make sure to add your picture, you want to add your logo, and you want to verify your contact information. Why do you want to fill this to the best of your ability? You want to fill this out because any class, any report that you're going to submit to your customer, this is basically going to be the cover sheet of that form. So you want to put in your name, your title, whether that's realtor or realtor associate, or broker associate, your office information, the address of your office. You want to put in your phone number, your email address. You also want to incorporate your website. So you do have options of listing more than one phone number by clicking add more. And you also have options of clicking different phone numbers. So if you wanted to include that office number or your assistant's phone number, you can do that here. And then same for website. If you want to add your personal agent website and also your office website, you can do so by adding that here. Okay, this MLS or CIE information, this is only available or only kind of pertains to you if you have access or you're a member of more than one association. So if you're not more than a member of more than one association, don't worry about this section here where it says license number. In this area, if you want to put in your license number, this means that on all reports, you'd like your license number to appear. Simply choose your state, the type of license that you have, and then just go ahead and enter your license number. The assistant information. This information is if you have an assistant and you'd like to give them part of your account or create a new assistant account on RPR for them. You can add actually up to 3. So that's a great option for any of us who have an assistant. Click on save to update any of your changes, right? And then also you do have on your right hand side RPR Mobile Access. So you do have available for you RPR as mobile. You can download it either from your App Store or your Google Store. And then right here in your settings, I wanted to point out for you that it will show anywhere that you've updated or added RPR Mobile. So I've added it on my cell phone, but if you add it on multiple cell phones, on a tablet, your system will automatically know where you have your RPR. You do have another side of your settings. These settings you have for residential and for commercial. This is basically the settings of your preference of what is new to the market. So you can either set your new listings When I look at them in RPR, anything that came out within the last 7 days, to me, means it's a new property. But to you, maybe anything that came on the market in the last 30 days is still considered new. So you have that option here by clicking. See how I scrolled my little ball all the way to the right-hand side and my number of days changed right next to set new listing to 30 days? That means anything that hits the market and it's been in the market for 30 days is still considered new when I look in my RPR. So you can change it from 30 to 14 to 7 to 3 to 1. So this is your preference. I like 7. So I'm going to leave mine at 7. You have the same option, but when it comes to recently sold or leased property. So do you think it's recently sold in the last 180 days, in the last 120 days, 60 days, 14 days, or in the last 7 days? So this is up to you. You have this option in viewing your listings. You also have this option in commercial. So this is the other side of your settings. And you also have home areas. What are home areas? Home areas kind of function like hot sheets on the MLS, where the system will give you information based on the areas that you're interested in, areas that you work, right? Your service areas. The only difference here is that you can actually add neighborhoods. You can add cities. You can add an entire state, zip codes, or like little micro neighborhoods. So for example, I put in Brickell. So instead of putting 3 zip codes, I just put in Brickell and the system can give that to me. Flagami is like a little neighborhood inside of Miami. We have Kings Creek, right, which is like an association and a neighborhood in Glenver Heights. I put in Orlando because you can search for property outside of our service area. So a lot of agents send us emails of where they can search for property that's outside of our service area. So I want to look for property in Key West, in Naples, in Orlando. You can do so using RPR because RPR is a great option for an MLS search. Okay, so going back to home, let's go over the options and the settings and what you have here in the front on your home page. On your home page, you have, your welcome, and we found our settings, how you sign in and how you sign out. This program, if you're using another program, and by program, I mean another computer in another office. I know we're all home right now. We're probably on our laptop, but if you're ever somewhere else using RPR, remember to sign out. RPR is one of those programs that will stay active in your browser for like 2 weeks if you don't sign out. You have your data tools, you have commercial. So RPR has residential and RPR has commercial. If I click on commercial, you can toggle between the 2 services. See, this is our commercial side. And if you're interested in RPR commercial, which is a great class, you can go to our calendar, look for RPR commercial, and also within Realtor Live, Miami Realtor Live, in your dashboard, we have pre-recorded classes for both. We also have our Miami YouTube page that's available, which is all of our training. So in YouTube, if you look up Miami Trainers, that's our YouTube page. All of our trainings have been recently recorded and added into our YouTube page. So that's another option. But I'm going to toggle back into residential because this is RPR Residential. So right here you have your home, you have results, you have our details on any pages, we have our reports. I did want to talk about this little bell here. So basically whenever we generate a report on RPR, normally it takes like 1 or 2 minutes. And it'll go ahead and indicate that a report is done by giving us like a little ding dong noise. So you can either click on the bell and turn off that ding dong, or you can go ahead and click it and turn it on. And why is this like this? This is like this because RPR, as reports generate, you can still function in the site. You don't have to wait. So that's why they gave you like kind of a notification. The bell will stay the last way that you put it. you have this little graduation cap. The graduation cap is basically additional information on how to use RPR. They have videos, they have tutorials, how to use RPR. And if I click on it, I can show you some examples on your first visit, creating mailing labels, right? You have different topics right in here. Let me exit out. You also have additional information here. So anything new, RPR actually has been coming out with a lot of great information and relating that information to what's going on now with COVID-19. So if you want to jump into that after this class to kind of get a little bit more information, you can do so. This does say that we searched 2.3 million in sales listings, 391,000 distressed properties. Why? Because this is nationwide. You can search properties nationwide using RPR. I did want to talk to you about our search bar. So you have your saved searches. If you click on the downward arrow, you have your current listings. If you have any listings, they would appear right here in the top. Properties. These are any properties that I've searched for recently and that I've saved. You also have searches. So any searches that I've pulled, they can be available right here under saved. All of this information stays active in your system for 30 days. After 30 days, they start falling off. And then we have the market activity in my home area. And this is basically what we set up in our settings. So you see we have Flagami here, Brickell here, Kings Creek, South Miami, and Orlando. And again, this is like a hot sheet. Okay, so these are our saved searches. You have all properties. All properties is all properties. Nationwide, whether they're for sale or not for sale or off the market. Then you have for sale properties, for lease properties. You can search particular neighborhoods. You can search just for schools, or you can search for market activity. Our next area is basically what's going on and what we've been doing on RPR recently. And it kind of shows us all that recent information right on our dashboard. So it shows me my recent properties that I've done, my recent searches, my recent reports that I've generated. They're all listed here. And again, these are available for you for the first 30 days. After 30 days, these recents start to fall off. These are RPR Mobile that we were talking about. RPR Mobile, it's great. There's a lot of special functions that can be done by RPR, and we actually have an RPR Mobile class. That class, I believe, is called Mobile Agent, and it talks about all of the different things and all of the different products that you can use from your cell phone. RPR Mobile is one of them. Okay, it's available for Apple. It's also available for Android. I like this section. This section is basically information of how other agents have been using it. So it gives you information of on the field kind of experiences that they've had with RPR. So that's available here. You can watch their videos and how they've used it. This information here is if you have any questions for them. This is their number, 877-977-7576. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it's a nationwide program. So they have to be available 24/7. You also have a live chat available. Okay, so that's there for you as well. I wanted to jump into a search so that we all know how to search in RPR because it's a great option. It's a great MLS option. So you can either start with an address that you already are interested in looking at. You can start with a city. You can do a zip code, a different county, or if you have the MLS already in mind, you can go ahead and do that. Somebody just asked me, are you under commercial? No, we're under residential. Right here at the top, you can toggle between both. It does say commercial because when I click on it, it'll take me to commercial. You'll know something's commercial when it's all in red. If I click on residential, it's going to take me back to the residential side. So we're in residential. Awesome. So let's run a search so we all know how to do one. I'm going to start with a city. I'm just going to go ahead and click. I'm going to look in Coral Gables. So this is kind of like Google in the way that it's kind of like smart searching. As you start putting in the city or if you start putting in an address, it'll start giving you some options of what you can click on. So for example, I started typing up Coral Gables and it'll give me the city with the state, or it'll further break it down into a zip code. Okay, so I'm just going to click, for the example of this search, Coral Gables, Florida. We have our price range. I'm going to do 750,000, no max, bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, for example. And then I can do an advanced search and add additional filters. So you have keywords, you can add up to 6. So let's say I want a pool. You can click in pool and press add, but you can add like 6 new keywords that you want to include in your search. I can see either active or pending properties under listing status. I'm going to uncheck pending because I only want to see the active. Now it also gives me the option of what it is that I'm going to see. You have non-distressed, you have foreclosure or bank-owned property, pre-foreclosure, or short sales. So I'm going to uncheck short sales, I'm going to uncheck pre-foreclosures, I'm going to uncheck foreclosure / bank owned, and I'm going to go ahead and just stay with non-distressed properties in Coral Gables with a pool between 750,000, no max, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. I can select my living area based on square feet. Okay, so if my living area has to be X amount big, I can do so here. I can also do my living area right in here, my lot size, and then we have our property types. So for example, I'm going to uncheck all because I don't want all of them. I just want single family, condo, townhouse, and apartments. Okay. Preferences. I only want to see with photos. The time. I only want to see property that's been listed in the last 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, 60 days. So this is another option in your search. Or the year built. They also have RVM, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Okay, so to pull this search, I just have to click on this magnifying glass, and the program will pull the searches for me. And what's going on this page is I get to see my search criteria, my property results in the middle when it pulls up, and then my map on the right. You kind of get to see all the information at once, which I really like. And we have a total amount of properties of 196. So let's add a max of 1 million so that we can cut down on some of those properties. And then press apply. So this is pretty cool. I don't have to go back to my criteria. I can stay right on the same page, make changes, and the system will go ahead and update that for me. Now it's updated to 9 properties. So it'll show you how many properties you have, your criteria, the status of it, my maps, right? And then we have heat maps. Heat maps are pretty cool. You have a drop-down arrow, and you have different heating map options. The one that I had selected previously was year built. Let's do housing density. Okay, so it'll show you the least amount of housing density all the way to the highest. And then right here in the map, you can see that information and how that housing density looks. To see a bigger map, you can click bigger map. If I zoom in too close, my heat map will go away. So this is as close as you can be so that you can see those heat maps. I'm going to go back into list view, and we were talking about Coral Gables and how it compares. So it'll compare each property that you're searching on, or the search that you've done. It'll compare that property within Coral Gables, within Miami-Dade, and within Florida. So you'll see the comparisons here. The median price in Coral Gables is $645. The median price in Miami-Dade is $330,000, and in Florida it's $261,650. So you see, it'll always do these 3 comparisons: the city that we're looking at, the county, and the state. This is on the right-hand side, and you'll always have it available on your searches. We'll also have down here more about the neighborhood, but we'll jump into neighborhood reports a little bit later. Let's go ahead and click on one of these pages so that we can see a detailed page. This is our detailed page. It shows you the address of the property, status. So this is active with a contract as of March 5th. It shows us our listing price, our AVM. This is how you can refine this price, the AVM price. How you refine, we'll jump into that a little bit later, but basically when you go and meet with a client and they've recently done some renovations, this is a good tool for that. How to add those renovations that they've done for their property into your CMA. The basic facts of the property is here on the left-hand side. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, the housing type. This is an AVM confidence score. So you have, it's a 5-star rating. 3 stars mean, we're not that confident with the price and the range that we've given you. They have them all the way up to 5 stars. So RPR also has showing time available. So Matrix is not the only matrix that you can use to schedule properties. You can also use RPR. I thought that was interesting. It's also new, this feature. You have your pictures right in the middle. Lovely property. You have a street view. You also have an overhead view. It'll show you how many days it's been on RPR and the last time it was leased and for how much. So you get a lot of good information on our property detailed page. On this side, we have historical records and we can go ahead and compare those. So click on compare historical records. Okay, and I can see the last time it was listed July 3rd, 2018 and the changes that have happened. Okay, so it looks like they painted it. The door looks really nice and brown. And you can kind of compare changes. You can compare home facts, listing details, room details, interior, exterior. We see the same listing agent listed it both times. Congratulations, Laura, on follow-up. Location information, other details, additional information, homeowner information. So this is great. You're going to go on a listing presentation. This is nice that you can compare from before. So how you find that is right in your property detail page. We're under summary where it says compare historical records. Here you can write any notes on this property. These are your own notes for any reason that you need them. You can add them here. You can upload pictures. So let's say I went to the property, I took my own pictures, I can upload it here. I can also create my seller proceeds. So I can click here, and before I go on my listing presentation, maybe this is something I want to begin to fill out so they have an idea. Right? You can save it and close it, add it to your report. We have our home facts, so it'll show you the owner's name and the mailing address. Okay? We have our home facts here, and then you have a column on the right hand side. So if any of this, there's a discrepancy here, where public facts says that there's 3 bedrooms and the listing says there's 4. So maybe here, when I went, I saw that there's actually 3, for example. I looked, I verified, okay, they have 3. This is just an example. You can update these changes. Here you have additional graphs. And here on the side, they show you in the last year. But here on in the middle, you can go back up to 3 years. It'll compare this house, the zip code, the county, and Florida, which is pretty cool. And you have that available here in the middle. You have any price change information, listing details, interior, exterior, location details, any additional notes you'd want to write, our school information. So the school information is not particularly the school assigned to this property. That's not what that is. This is the closest 5 schools to the building. Financing information, we have our legal description here. Any additional notes? You have your mortgage information here. You can have all that information in the same detailed page. I don't have to click out of it. It's all in one space. Tax information, notes for me to write, deeds. Okay, so this is all of the information under the summary report of a property. This is history information. So any information on sales, listing activities, financing activities, distress activity, assessed value, refined value, sales comp valuation, estimated loan balance. This is the icons that they would be using, and you can find them all in this area. Again, I'm going to do an example as if I was about to go on a listing presentation. This is an area that I would look at to kind of start deciding or discovering insight of what's motivating my seller to want to sell their properties. So I would look for that here. Okay, write my own notes about it. Prior sales transaction information. Again, notes, tax information, mortgage records are here. Distressed info, if this property had any, would be here. You have charts. These are a combination of the charts that you see on your right-hand side, but right here in the middle because you can add them to your reporting. Refined value. Refined value is what we were talking about a little bit earlier, where you can kind of change this refined estimate that they have. You can change it based on regular basic facts. Right here we have it listed as a 3.2, but the listing agent has it listed as a 4. Apply changes, for example, and you see how that price change has moved. You can also see that it's moved here. So restore original price. This area here is refine the value based on any home improvements. So sometimes customers don't know that because they spent, I don't know, $25,000 on this really luxurious pool, that it immediately is going to reflect $25,000 in the price. And it also compares when that improvement was done. So if they redid the kitchen 3 years ago, that price is going to be different. It'll reflect different than if they did it this year. So for example, you can click on the drop down. You have bedrooms, you have an addition, you also have a remodel. So they give you most common improvements that are done in a home, but you also have other to include something that's not listed. So let's say they did roofing replacements March of 2016 and it cost them $25,000. That added $15,180 to my sales price. And it'll show you more or less the value. So it'll give you that breakdown. This is a great tool. This isn't so that you fully rely on this information. You want to take into account the system is relying on you to be the property expert, but this gives you kind of something else that you can weigh out when you're establishing that comparative market analysis price and that price point. Okay, so you're still the expert. This is additional information for you so that you can reference, right? This is a great tool also. You can refine that price based on what's needed to be improved on the property. Might motivate your owner, or you list because of what money they can be losing. Here you have refined the value based on the market and home condition. This is subjective. You basically are dragging the icon in the middle, move it a little bit to indicate so, but if you scroll to the bottom, that's already a difference of $21,000. Do these numbers make sense? Okay, so you have to kind of weigh them out yourself. I'm going to put it at 1, little dash over, that's about $10,000. This is the home exterior. This is a superior, nicest house on the block. This is what's been added. Let's say it's the ugliest house on the block. Still, we're still happy it's our listing. It is going to remove quite an amount of money there. So this is also good to have that conversation of some of those updates before we list it. Invest on that exterior paint. You have interior conditions, the home exterior, the home interior, the lot size. Is it one of the bigger properties in the neighborhood? Is it one of the smaller ones? You can go ahead and gauge that here. The view and the privacy, right? So is it in a cul-de-sac or is it right on a main street? Okay, and that affects the pricing. So this is the refined value, and as you refine it, this will constantly be changing. Let's go to comp analysis. There is a class called CMA, and basically what they do is they go over how to do a CMA and all of your tax services. So what are your tax services? It's RPR, it's IMAP, and it's Realist. And Remind now. Okay, so this is the CMA section. It basically has 5 steps to it, and how it works is it'll guide you from one step to another once we've selected a property. But to do a CMA, you'd have to do the CMA classes. This is where you can find that. I did want to show you the neighborhood. When I click on neighborhood, it's going to show me Coral Gables. It removed the address of what I was looking at, and it's just showing me the details on the neighborhood. Under neighborhood, you have different chapters here. We have the summary of the neighborhood, the housing, the people, the economy, and the quality of life in Coral Gables. So let's say Coral Gables isn't my farming area, right? And I don't know a lot about Coral Gables. This is great for you to be able to learn the people, learn the economy, learn the housing information in a neighborhood. If you're going to do social media, if you're going to do a mail out, who are these people in this zip code? You can find that here. Also, this is great for anybody relocating. This is a summary. These are all of our graphs. It breaks down our population of children in this area. It breaks down the population of adults, right? And you would market to those people and work with those people maybe a little bit different than if it was 75 or older. Okay, we do have the schools for this area on the side. And let's go into housing. Here's our housing information. And again, it's compared to Miami-Dade, the county, the state, and in this one, the entire US. It gives you the median estimated home value. Also, any changes in the last 12 months for that home value, the median list price, any changes in the last month or in the last 12 months can be seen. The median home age, so how old are these properties? They're around 53 years old. If your agent wants to look for something a little bit newer, right? Maybe this is not the area. You also know how many people are owning compared to how many people are renting space. That's also available here. But I mean, just looking at this, let's say you wanted to do a little social media post in Coral Gables. I think here you can find a lot of good information. Like one of those, did you know? And then you can add some of these statistics on there. That can be something that you can do repeatedly on different areas that you work. So if this is one of your areas, Coral Gables is your farming area, use the stats. They're great. Everybody likes stats, and everybody likes listening to an agent talk stats on a community. It shows that you're the agent. You're the property expert, the neighborhood expert. Okay, so again, you have these graphs. So it's this information broken down in graphs. Let's go through them so you can see them. And normally, okay, let's look at the people by clicking right up here on people. Here's all your people information. The population, how dense the population is, the median age range. Are they women? Are they men? Their education. The population of children by age group, adults by age group, households with children, the amount of households that are married with children, married without, single with children. We have household income brackets. This is also great to determine whether you want a certain sector as your farming area. Look into the neighborhood reports. Check out different areas and see if maybe that's a valuable or an area that you'd like to farm by looking into some of these information. Is the income there, right? The occupations, that's another breakdown, and even their voting patterns are available for you. The economy of this city, income per capita, medium household income, unemployment rate, and then it'll again compare the city with the county, with the state, and the US. Okay, and then this information, it'll give it to you in graphs. We have the quality of life, the elevation, annual rainfall, travel time to work, average commute time, how people get to work, average monthly temperatures. I feel that these are low. This is what we have. You can also create a report of the neighborhood. So I clicked on create a report, and what it's going to pull is Coral Gables because that's what I was just looking at. And you have 8 reports that you can choose from. All of these reports, you can personalize them, and you personalize them by clicking on more details and selecting or deselecting what information you'd want to add and what information you'd want to maybe eliminate. So this one here at the beginning, is called Property Report, and that's going to show all the information that we just went over, including if we've had created it, our comp analysis. If you want to see a picture or a view, you just click on the eye and it'll show you what's there or what's included in that report, right? And that'll help you decide how do you want to customize it. All of these reports are available to email. You can add a customized message. You can also, if you'd like, just open it up as a PDF. Okay, so if I wanted to run this report, I'm going to click Neighborhood Report. I'm going to leave all my pages and I'm going to click Run Report. It'll say my report is going to be done in the next 2 minutes, but I can still keep working. I don't have to wait on that to finish in order for me to continue to work. So you have property flyers that are also available for you. For a property file, you do need to input an address. I'm going to start with an address. I don't have one in mind. But as I start typing up, the system will go ahead and give me some options. I'm going to pick this one. Okay, the system will take it. This is an example of what that looks like if I wanted to use it. You can also add any additional description that you would like to this property and to this flyer. It just dinged. My report is done. Okay, whatever you want to put in there. Suppress means you don't want to include that information. And I'm going to go ahead and run that report so you can see it. So basically, as you see, running these reports are fairly easy. This is something, they made it so easy that you can do it on your cell phone. Normally, the mini property report is the most popular report. You see this information right here in the front? This is what we did in our settings, right? So you want your information, your picture, because it's going to be on all your reports. This is the mini report. It's professional, it's done in moments, and you can send over that information to them. This is great for anybody who maybe saw your virtual showing, right? And you want to send them additional information about that property, you can do so. All your reports will be found here. Let's download this flyer so you can see it. So whatever you put at the top, the picture, where it is on the map, basic information about the property, any description you'd like to put on there, and then that information that we did in the beginning, it's going to be also available on your flyer. It's going to have your logo, that it's from RPR, and when you created the flyer. So this is an example. You only want to do flyers for properties that are your own, any kind of advertising like a flyer. If it's for a property that's not your own, you need permission. But if you are going to go on a listing presentation and you want to give them an idea of like some of the flyers that you're going to do, you can include so that way. So let me go ahead and take a look at our neighborhood report. This is our neighborhood report. It's 11 pages and it's all done. So if you're having a conversation with someone, a homeowner, a friend, you're prospecting, I feel like everybody likes to know what's going on around them. And you have this available. Let me exit out of that. Okay, and if you go back home, the reports that we had just generated, they're here, right where it says recent report. And then there's one more thing I want to show you, and that is really quickly just how to make labels. So if I'm going to do, let me go back into my recent search. Okay, it loaded. You can go ahead and click mailing labels. What does that mean? That means that you can click on it after you do a search. So remember when we ran a search, do all properties, right? You can run property searches that are not on the market. Instead of selecting a regular search, you want to do distressed deals in the advanced search option, like how we did in our search. But I did want to show you the labels. You have different Avery labels that are available for you to do. And RPR has actually changed the amount of labels that we can do. So before, you only had 2,000 labels that you can do a mailing on for properties. Now, I think through June, you can do up to 4,000, right? So these are here. You have your different Averys. The property, you have the address type. Do you want it addressed to the owner's name, or do you want it to say current resident? And then you can filter, which I really like, whether you only want to do owner occupied, so that anybody who's an absentee owner, you don't waste time with that, unless, well, you're looking specifically for absentee owner. And then this part I like too, that you can exclude listed properties, and you can also exclude properties that are not on the that are on the do not mail list. You don't have to worry about getting in trouble when you're doing these labels, because these exclusions are already here for you. And then also, depending on how many you have, you can pick how many properties or how many labels you want to do. So let's say I want to do my first 25. I'm going to press print. Let me open them up. And here are your labels. They're ready to print. They're ready to go out. That is RPR. Those are some functions on RPR. Let me go home. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, so we went over our settings. We went over where you can get additional training. We went over our search bar, and we discussed that you can search for property anywhere. It's nationwide. Our saved searches, where to find our recent activity on the board. We talked about RPR Mobile and that you can download it for Apple and for Google. We talked about where to find information on how other agents are using RPR. We discussed where you can get help and that line is available for you 24/7. We talked about how to run reports, our advanced features, and some of our map features. We talked about viewing a detailed page, what's on there. How do you post to social media? Okay, so you can go into reports, okay, and anything that you were seeing. So for example, the neighborhood of Coral Gables, my recent stuff done, I can pull it from here, or I can click that little plus sign. So you can either download the report, or I can go ahead and share on Facebook. So let me show that again. Whatever report we've downloaded here will be available on your left-hand side. If you click on the plus, so let's say I wanted to show the Coral Gables report, and click on the plus side, and I'm going to go ahead and click share on Facebook. I'm going to share it to my business page and post it on social media. Coral Gables neighborhood report. Click for more information. Press post to Facebook, and it's on there. Here's my Coral Gables post that I just did. And if I click on it, it'll give me the report. And that's how you post on social media. Okay guys, well, this is the ending of the RPR class. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Happy to be here, happy to help you guys. I have another class at 11, and it's going to be RPR in Spanish. So thank you. Thank you for being a Miami member, and thank you for taking this class.